We get started. Prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं कृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरम् नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्दा श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्रीवसादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhescha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं मुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. We are in this chapter 13. 13th chapter is titled Dhritarashtra Quits Home. So we are seeing how Dhritarashtra actually leaves home. He was inspired by Vidura. Vidur had gone to pilgrimage to various places, and one fine day he decided to return to the palace. The reason he desired to return to the palace is to inspire his brother Dhritarashtra, who was at home and who was very, very attached to the palace and his materialistic life. He was, however, being maintained like a watchdog in the house of Bhima, eating the remnants given by Bhima. Now, the Pandavas, in one sense, they were responsible for the death of his 100 sons, but still he was being maintained by them. It's actually a very condemned life. But still, due to intense attachment, the nature of a human being is to stay where there is comfort, right? So now Dhritarashtra was staying there, and Vidura had to really wake him up simply because it was time for Dhritarashtra to also focus on the higher goal. He had not been a practicing devotee like most people on the call, and it was he had to really focus. In that time and age, they had the Varnashrama system was very nicely organized, and people followed it to the point. So it was time for Dhritarashtra to actually take to Vanaprastha ashram and really focus his time and energy in understanding the Supreme. It was time for Vidura to come and wake up his elder brother, who was born blind and unfortunately also spiritually blind all this while. So Vidura comes home and he inspires his elder brother. And after he has inspired his elder brother, along with Vidura, as well as his elder brother's wife Gandhari, they all leave to the forest and they leave without telling. Now, Dhritarashtra knew very well that if he again goes and has a discussion with everybody, then there is no possibility for him to leave the palace at all. So finally, he decided that he will just leave, and he leaves the palace. And Yudhishthir Maharaj, when he wakes up, he realizes that both his uncles as well as his aunt Gandhari, who was a very chaste woman, They were not available, they were not around, they were missing. So he started blaming himself, thinking that he's responsible. Maybe he didn't treat them properly, maybe they got offended, and that is the reason they actually left. So he asks Sanjaya, who is the minister as well as the charioteer of Dhritarashtra. And Sanjaya, he tells that my master has solidly cheated me because all these years he wouldn't do anything without telling me. He would confide everything into me. Uh, but today he has left us and he has not even told me about his whereabouts, and I'm very worried about him. Sanjaya was very worried for his master because he thought, how will my master maintain himself when he goes there? He is very attached to things of this place. How is he going to handle life? But then Sanjaya was not aware of the current conversation that happened between Vidura and Dhritarashtra. But however, while Sanjaya was speaking like this, Narada Muni, he appeared on the scene. And now, in our previous session itself, we started seeing the discussion between Narada Muni and Yudhishthir Maharaj. So Narada Muni comes in whenever there is a turmoil in the mind of great devotees at that time. Krishna sends a bona fide representative so that that turmoil can be resolved. Now, however, we should understand this is like real big time turmoils that we're talking about, especially to do with our spiritual lives. And at that time, Krishna will, I mean, even otherwise, he will help. But then, especially when we have turmoils with regards to our spiritual life, Krishna will send a powerful devotee to resolve the issue. So at this point in time, while Sanjaya was speaking, the very powerful Bhagavan Narada is addressed as Bhagavan because he's a confidential devotee of the Lord. He appears along with Tumburu, and immediately Yudhishthir Maharaj and others, get up from their seats and they offer obeisances, and he puts forward his concern. He says, I don't know where my two uncles have gone. I cannot find my aunt. I don't know what to do at this point in time. He was a very compassionate person, Yudhishthir Maharaj. And Yudhishthir Maharaj said, you great personalities, you hardly come to the house of householders. But then if you have come here, you are definitely going to direct us to the right destination. In fact, you are Karnadhara, the captain of the ship, and you are the one who can actually guide us to the right understanding. So then Narada Muni, now that he got the license to speak, because Yudhishthira Maharaj himself was telling, now you guide me. So Narada Muni, he's telling, oh pious king, oh Yudhishthir, you should not really lament for everyone. Don't think that, for anyone, sorry, don't think that anyone is being maintained by you. Actually, everybody is under the control of the Supreme Lord. And because everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord, actually everyone is protected in some way or the other. He is the one who brings people together and he is the one who disperses people. And we saw this analogy of a little child playing in a seashore. So sometimes he builds a beautiful castle, and sometimes when he is not happy with it, he just destroys it himself. So little children, they bring toys together, they build their Legos, and then the next minute when they are done with it, they disperse it. So like that, Krishna, he brings people together, and if he desires that it is over, he just disperses them. So that is one analogy we saw. And then we also saw how Narada Muni was explaining about the limited independence that we have. And actually, we all are bound by Vedic injunctions, and we are bound to obey the orders of the Supreme. So he gave the analogy as a cow being bound through the nose of a long rope. That cow is conditioned. So also we human beings, we are conditioned by the Vedic injunctions, and we have to ultimately obey the order of the Supreme Lord. So the Supreme Lord is the one who's in full control, and the Supreme Lord is personally taking care of every single living entity. So just like how a player sets up and disperses his playthings according to his sweet will, similarly, the Supreme Lord also, he puts things together and he disperses as he desires. So he tells Yudhishthir Maharaj, um, whatever the situation may be, remember that everything that is material in this world is perishable. Everything in this world is nothing that is going to last forever. And then he says, give up anxiety. You're thinking about how they are such poor creatures. How are they going to suffer? How will they survive without your presence? You're the maintainer of everything. So these are some thoughts you have. But you just give up that idea because ultimately everybody is being taken care of by the Supreme Lord. And he also says that what is this material world? This material world and this material body that we have, it is made up of 5 elements, and it gradually comes under the control of Kala, Karma, and Guna. We discussed this in great detail. So it is already under under the control of these three factors. How then can it be already in the jaws of a serpent protect others? So our condition itself is that we are in a horrible chaos. How are we to retrieve other suffering living entities by our materialistic means? All right. So that is how Yudhishthir Maharaj is being inspired by Narada Muni. So now Narada Muni, he continues to talk about the situation, and he tells the reality of this world, how this world functions. So that is verse number 47, and we'll be continuing from verse number 47 today. Ahastani sahastanam apadani chatuspadam Phalguni tatra mahatam jivo jivasya jivanam. Anyone wants to read translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. She continuing? Can I continue with it? Hello,
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
yes,
Those
yes,
who are
yes.
devoted, those who are devoid of hands, are pray for those who have hands. Those who are devoid of legs or pray for the four-legged, the weak or the subsistence of the strong. And the general rule holds that one living being is food for another.
Jivaha jivasya jivanam. Prabhupada often says, Jivaha jivasya jivanam. It's a very famous quote that one living entity is the food for another living entity. In this material world, we see that in front of our eyes, right? So there is a way of sustenance for every single living entity. The cycle is already set. The cycle is already there. So we should not think that, oh, I am maintaining somebody's, and somebody is eating food only because of me, because I am earning. That's how I'm able to feed my family. That's how most of us think, that I am the earning member, and if I don't do hard work, and if I don't get the money home, then my children are not going to be fed, or my spouse is not going to be fed, or my parents are not going to be maintained. But then there is already a systematic order present in the by the laws of the Lord. Just like Prabhupada often says. So, how do you think the elephant that is using thousands and thousands of tons of food is surviving every day? Who's maintaining him? Are you maintaining him? No, he's being maintained by the natural orders that is set by the Lord. So this is the natural order. Those who are devoid of hands are pray for those who have hands. Those who are devoid of legs are pray for those who are four-legged. The weak are the substance of the strong, and the general rule holds good that every living being is food for another. So just like for us, we can easily sustain on fruits and vegetables and so on. And you know how carnivorous animals, they attack other animals, they attack the weaker animals, and they are sustaining. So like this, there is the deer and the other vegetarian, I mean the herbivorous animals, they are all eating plants and grass and trees and leaves, and they are sustaining themselves. So like that, there is a natural order that is set in this world for each other's sustenance. So Prabhupada says in the purport, there's a systematic law of subsistence in the struggle of existence, and this is there by the supreme will. So we all have a struggle of existence. There was a theory put by this Darwin in the past Not only did he talk about that we came from monkeys, he also said survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest. Yes, that sounds maybe superficially right, but in one sense, it's a very crude way of telling that everyone is truly struggling for existence. Okay, Prabhupada puts it different. He says the law, a systematic law of subsistence and the struggle for existence is there by the Supreme Will. We are all struggling for existence. That is the truth. Somehow or the other, we are struggling for our existence and we are able to keep up with the laws of material nature. Rather than saying survival of the fittest, only the fittest will survive, the rest of them will die. Instead of saying like Prabhupada says, there is a systematic law of systematic law of subsistence in the struggle of existence. And you might do any amount of planning, but this law is natural, it is there. So, living beings, we have come into this material world, and this entire material world is called Maya Shakti. We should remember Maya Shakti is a deputed agent of the Lord. And what is her duty? What is this Devi Maya's duty? She's called Devi Maya because she's the Lord's own energy. Her duty is to pinch the conditioned souls with threefold miseries. So sometimes Maya Devi is said to be represented by holding a trishul. So Durga Devi, she pierces us with the trishul. This trishul represents the threefold miseries in material life. So here Prabhupada is telling Daivi Maya is meant to pitch the conditioned souls by threefold miseries. Continuously we are being poked. And what are the threefold miseries? Adhyatmik, Adhyavik, and Adibhautik. So, like this, continuously in this material world, we are pinched by the threefold miseries. And the weak is the subsistence for the strong, right? That is the natural order. No one is strong enough to protect himself from the onslaught of the stronger. And by the will of the Lord, there are systematic categories for the weak, the stronger, and the strongest. So, when a tiger eats a weaker animal, um, we don't sit and cry when, of course, we feel bad for that animal. But we know that is a natural order. That is how the creation or the material world functions. But however, we should remember as human beings, yes, the verse says that those devoid of hands are prey for those who have hands, though it says that we should remember, however, that being civilized human beings, we have the aid of scriptures. So we already have the knowledge given by scriptures that self-realization is the ultimate goal. Now, what sets human beings apart from animals? Animals do not have access to scriptures. Animals do not have scope to develop self-realization or God realization. But human beings, we are meant to obey the law of given by the scriptures, and we have intelligence to aspire for self-realization. So when we are aspiring for self-realization, the rule book says that one may only eat simple food preparations made of vegetables, fruits, leaves, and grains, and one should not eat anything that is not offered to the Lord. So when the Lord cannot accept any of this meat, and the Lord can accept only simple foods like fruits, leaves, milk, vegetables, and so on, then we just offer such acceptable items to the Lord and we partake his prasadam. That way, this entire suffering in this material world, the struggle for existence, can be gradually mitigated. If the species in the topmost rung, when we talk about food chain, we say we humans are in the top of the chain. We say that, right? But imagine if the people who are in the top of the food chain are the most responsible. They are the most responsible. How nicely the food chain will be maintained. So, what is the best way to be responsible? The best way to be responsible is to just partake that which is offered to the Lord. That way, when the Lord is satisfied, everybody is satisfied. There is no question of messing up with the food chain. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9.26, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. So he says, you give me patram pushpam phalam toyam and I'm very, very happy. That is the recommendation he has given. And if we follow that recommendation, if we always learn to offer whatever is there before we consume it to the Supreme Lord, then by that itself, not only will our struggle for existence be gradually mitigated, but also the struggle for existence of all the living entities eventually, over a period of time, can get mitigated, because the person on the topmost rung of the food chain is being very, very responsible. Okay. Prabhupada says even those who are accustomed to eating animals can offer foodstuffs, but they don't offer foodstuffs directly to the Lord, but they offer these foodstuffs to an agent of the Lord, just like how sometimes those who want to eat meat, they offer food to Kali through religious rites and they accept. So the point Prabhupada is trying to make here is that it is not very easy to convince the entire population to become prasaditarian tomorrow. There will be some meat eaters. Like Prabhupada in the previous chapters, he also mentions there will be prostitutes, there will be meat eaters, there will be people who are not following the correct rules and regulations. So that's how this, they will be drunkards, Prabhupada says. They will be drunkards. Therefore, you have regulation that is allowed. Uh, so the regulation that is allowed in scripture for those who want to consume meat is that they should slaughter the animal themselves. They should chant a particular mantra saying that this is mamsa, that is my himsa, and in the next birth you can kill me the same way. They chant that mantra and then they sacrifice the animal in the outskirts of the village on an Amavasya night personally. It's not like you open big slaughterhouses and then you do mass slaughtering. That is never recommended in scriptures. Even if one desires to eat meat, this is the procedure given. So he must capture the animal himself, he should do the religious rites properly, he should purify, he should chant the mamsa mantras, and he should give sanction to the animal. I'm not able to control my tongue, so I'm going to eat you. But then in my next birth, I guarantee you, I will come as your food. You can cut me up and you can eat me. So you're pretty much saying that mantra, and you do it on the outskirts of the village, not in the middle of the village, and you do it on an Amavasya night when not many people are going to be uh, looking at you or something like that. So you do it on an Amavasya night, and just don't start eating, right? What do? You first make the offerings to Goddess Kali, and then she's a representative who can directly accept such offerings. So she will take such offerings and then, I mean, not that she's eating, she'll just sanction you to eat it. That's all. And then you can eat. So like this, there are some injunctions even for meat eating. But then why are there injunctions even for meat eating? So that there can be gradual advancement. Okay, some regulation will be there. It's not like they can eat on any night. They can eat only on Amavasya night. So there itself, there is some regulation. Even till when I was studying in school and college, I used to see some of my friends who would eat meat. They would say, "Oh, today is Tuesday, we don't eat meat. Today is Friday, we don't eat meat." I didn't understand why they said that because many of us we'd never eat meat. But when they would say that it's Tuesday, it's Friday, I was like, I used to think, what sort of things that you should never eat meat? But then I eventually, as I grew up, I understood that that is some sort of regulation. At least they are taking up that austerity, right? It's not that they are eating meat left and right every day, every single meal. They're not doing that. They're taking some voluntary austerity. So that itself we should appreciate. Uh, some regulation. So in according to scriptures, the correct regulation is you cannot you just eat meat at a particular stipulated period or a stipulated time. But even till previous generation at least, there were some rules and regulations people were following. Now, why all these rules and regulations? This is all meant for gradual purification. Because Prabhupada, like Prabhupada said, there are some people who cannot control. It is very difficult for them. But you cannot give them license to open slaughterhouses and recklessly start killing animals. Okay. So that is the concept behind this purport. So basically, Narada Muni, he's telling us that there is a natural food chain that is set in order. This concept of food chain is very ancient. It is there in the Bhagavatam itself. And the it's not that okay, somebody realized that this is the food chain, and we study in our high school books about food chain, and we are so amazed. Oh yeah, this is so true. This person eats this, then a bigger fish eats a smaller fish, and so on. We go through that entire system of food chain. But all this is there in the Bhagavatam. Jivo jivasya jivanam. So this is the nature of the material world. Now, why is Narada Muni talking about all this? Why is he worried about food chain? Why should Yudhishthir Maharaj first be worried about food chain? Right? The idea is that Narada Muni is telling him, don't think that you are the one who's maintaining your uncle. Your uncle is being maintained by the natural food chain. Now that he is in Vanaprastha ashram, he should be accustomed to eating fruits, roots, and tubers or leaves that is present in the forest. That will be his diet at this point in time, because he is retired, he's surviving in the forest, and that is the recommendation given for him. So he'll be sustaining himself according to the rules and regulations there. Okay. So he'll be taken care of. The forest has enough produce to help your uncles and your aunts survive. So that is the message that is being given in this particular verse. Okay. Having said that, we can continue to verse number 48. So we are still in Narada Muni's uh, instructions to Yudhishthir Maharaj. Praladananda Prabhu has quoted a verse 10:8:4. O my Lord, O great devotee, persons like you move from one place to another for not for their own interests, but for the sake of the poor-hearted grihasthas. Otherwise, they have no interest in going from one place to another. Yeah, this is with respect to the point that these great souls like Narada Muni, they have nothing to do. It's not like they're coming here to get some dakshina or something. But the reason that they are moving from one place to the other is to enlighten householders from our condition, and that's exactly what he's doing. So 113:48.
Srila Prabhupada also Mataji. He
Yes.
came
Oh,
to the
yes.
United States at the age like that for our Kalyan.
Haribol. So beautiful, yes, Prabhu. If यदि Prabhupada नहीं होते, we say that if Prabhupada wasn't there, what would we do? What would we do? What would we do? It is not possible at all for us to do anything actually. It would be such a mess, right, without Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. And for our sake, he left Vrindavan and he came so much voluntary austerity. So he had to undergo heart attack, stroke, he had to come here. So many losses. He was robbed. He was in terrible, terrible condition. He didn't have anything with him. But still he came for our sake. And every time he would go back to the harbor to see when is the next ship. But he didn't go back. He didn't give up. He was a great fighter. He came for our sake and he stayed. And today we see generations after generations, hundreds and thousands, not hundreds and thousands, millions of people are taking up to this process of Krishna consciousness. He's a real commander in chief of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's army. So we are very fortunate to have Srila Prabhupada, who has come like Narada Muni. So Narada, he continues for 48. Tad idam Bhagavan Rajan eka atmanatmanam swadrik antaro anantaro bhati pashyatam mayaro mayayorudha. Anyone for translation?
Hare Krishna Mata.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Therefore, O King, you should look to the Supreme Lord only, who is one without a second, and who manifests himself by different energies and is both within and without. Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Mataji, Indu Mataji, can you help us here? What is the meaning of one without a second?
Yes, one without a second, as in no one can be equal to the Lord.
Yes, yes, Mataji, thank you so much. Yes, no one can be equal to the Lord. There is no one who can stand as a, like a next to the Lord, like a competitor to the Lord. Yeah, there's nobody equal to him. One without a second. And he's manifest in this world by various energies. His various energies are manifest throughout this world. He's present through his energies. So this is the nature of the Supreme Lord. So Narada Muni is telling that the Lord has no match. Okay, the Lord is taking care of everybody. We are thinking we are big kings. We are maintainers of one particular country, one earth. As the leader of our family, we are thinking we are the maintainer of 3, 4 people in our family. We are so great. And like that, everybody thinks they are very great. Okay. But this person, he is the supreme one without a second. There is no match to him. He's taking care of everybody. But how is he doing it? He's doing it in a very subtle way. He's manifesting himself in various energies. He's within and without everything, and he's maintaining everything. Such a beautiful verse. Narada Muni is explaining this so nicely. We spoke about the concept of food chain. That is also the energy of the Lord, right? It's a way of maintenance for this entire world. How did that concept come? It came through the energy of the Lord. So he might not come to every single household and tell the father of the household that I am going to teach you how you should maintain your family. He's not going to do that. Hmm? But in a very subtle way, he will empower that father to maintain the entire family. So his energy is manifest everywhere. It is within and without, and like that, he is the one without a second, the ultimate supreme who's taking care of everybody. This is the power of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one without a second, Prabhupada says. He maintains himself by different energies because he is by nature blissful. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. And then the second part is he is very blissful. What is that, Prabhu? Uh, uh, uh,
Swabhaviki Jnana
Swabhaviki
Balakri.
Jnana
Jnana
Bhalak.
Balakri.
Yeah. Jnana Bhalakriya. Yeah, Swabhaviki. So here by his energies, he's manifest everywhere. Jnana Bala Kriya. These are his energies. And he's always remaining blissful. He doesn't have to come and work here. Okay. He can remain blissful in Goloka Vrindavan and still continue to maintain the affairs of the world. And who are all his energies? This material world, of course, is his energy. We know that the spiritual world is his energy. But then we living beings, we are also manifestations of his marginal energy. We are qualitatively one with the Lord, and still we are minute. Hmm? So, like this, the entire world is nothing but a manifestation of Krishna's energy. And we living entities, though we are qualitatively one with the Lord, we become contaminated by the association of the material world. And that's the reason we experience the so called happiness and distress of the material world. We become conditioned in this material world and we start experiencing happiness and distress. But then such experiences will not affect the spirit soul. The spirit soul is always qualitatively one with the Lord. We should remember this. But then a conditioned soul who has taken up a body, he's the one who's actually affected by happiness and distress of this material world. Hmm. Krishna, however, is present everywhere. Though we are all his energies, as little fragmental parts and parcels of Krishna, being this marginal energy, sometimes we tend to associate with a material energy and we become conditioned. But still, Krishna doesn't leave us even in this material world. He's there with us as the localized Paramatma. And he comes and he helps us in every single step of our life. He gives us the revealed scriptures by which we can understand him through the medium of our acharyas. So, like this, Krishna is present in every step. He is also there guiding us as the Paramatma. Externally, he has given us the revealed scriptures. So, like this, somehow or the other, he gives us an opportunity to cooperate with the Lord, not to get entangled here, but to cooperate with the Lord. Okay, so that is the gift that Krishna is giving us. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He has sent us to this material world, but he has not left us alone, but he continues to take care of us every single minute. So our business is nothing but to cooperate with the Lord. And a bona fide spiritual master is one who teaches us correctly, who shows us who God is. But if a bona fide spiritual master is teaching us to be happy in this material world, then he's not bona fide. He's not even a spiritual master. He's also a businessman. So the nature of a true spiritual master is to help us awaken our relationship with God. And that is exactly what Narada Muni is doing. So Yudhishthir Maharaj was advised by Narada not to be disturbed by the affairs of the so-called happiness and distress of this world. And he tells him, just execute the mission for why you have descended into this world. You have come here and you have certain activities to perform as the king. Just do those activities. Don't be too attached and keep moving on. Just execute your duty. Don't think you're maintaining somebody. Krishna is taking care of everything. His energies will take care of everything. You are a fragmental part and parcel. Just perform your duty, understand the reason for your existence, take shelter of the scriptures, and focus on your self realization. That is more than enough. This is what Narada Muni is trying to enlighten Yudhishthir Maharaj as a bona fide spiritual master. Okay, so that was for text number 48. It's text number 49. So now he is going to tell something about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says, Soyam Madhya Maharaja Bhagavan Bhuta Bhavanaha Kalarupo Avatirnosyam Abhavaya Suradvisham. Anyone wants to read translation?
Next, Mataji. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, in the guise of all devouring time, Kalarupa, has now descended to the earth to eliminate the envious from the world. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So this Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's one without a second, who's there in our hearts as Paramatma, who's taking care of all living entities, he has descended now, right, as Sri Krishna. And he in fact took the Kala Rupa, the guise of the all-devouring time. He came to eliminate the envious from the world. So whatever disturbing elements are there, whoever is working against the will of the Lord, such elements are destroyed by the Supreme Lord himself. So he's taking on the task. That is what Narada Muni is telling. He will take care of those who are envious and he will eliminate them from the world. And he just did that. Krishna just did that in the battlefield. So here also Krishna is indicating whatever happened in the battlefield is also by the will of Krishna. It is not that, okay, Yudhishthir Maharaj was completely responsible, it's all his fault. He says, no, it is Krishna's desire. He came in the guise of all devouring time, Kala Rupa. He came to earth to eliminate all the envious people in the world through the Kurukshetra war. And Prabhupada, while talking about the envious people, he says there are two classes of human beings, the envious and the obedient. And this one Krishna is actually the father of both these classes of people. Both of them are his sons. Since the Supreme is one and the father of all living beings, the envious living beings are also his sons, but they are known as the Asuras. But the living beings who are obedient to the Supreme Father, they are called as the Devatas or the demigods. So, not only are the Asuras envious of the Lord, they even deny the existence of the Lord. And that is what is happening in the age of Kali. There is a predominance of the number of Asuras in this world. So, like this, when there is an intense, uh, you know, the power of the asuras that increases when the number of asuras become more and their activities are predominant and the society requires rectification, at that time the Lord himself comes and he eliminates such asuras from the world and he establishes the rule of the devatas like Pandavas. So from time to time the Lord has to descend to set right things. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkratam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So from time to time, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he comes and he destroys all these asuras and he reinstates the devatas like devotees. Like for example, here he installed the Pandavas. So like this, he comes as Kala Rupa. Now, Prabhupada says his designation as Kala in disguise is very significant. And we should remember, like actually in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, he shows us Kala Rupa, right? He shows us Kala Rupa and he says, see how everybody is entering my mouth. And he shows how, all these warriors from all the sides, they were entering his thousands of mouths. Some were getting stuck between his teeth and so on. So all this description is there in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada says actually he's not at all dangerous. So sweet. Prabhupada is telling, actually Arjun got scared, right? Arjun gets scared seeing that form. But Prabhupada is telling here, he's not at all dangerous, but he's transcendental form of eternity, knowledge and bliss. For the devotees, his factual form is disclosed, and for non-devotees, he appears like Kala Rupa, which is causal form. Actually, Krishna is not dangerous. When Narsimhadev appeared, Narsimhadev was very scary to everybody. Everybody got scared looking at him. It was a very fierce form. Sometimes, if you don't know who Narsimhadev is and you suddenly see the transcendental form of Narsimhadev, if you don't have the right eyes to see the beauty of Narsimhadev, people can even get scared. So the atheists, they got scared seeing that terrible form. They call it terrible. But then for a devotee, that form is so beautiful, right? For Prahlad Maharaj, that form was so beautiful. So like that, it depends on the perception. The causal form of the Lord is not at all pleasing to the Asuras. Therefore, they think of the Lord as formless. In order to feel secure, they will not be vanquished by the Lord. So this Kala Rupa, even the Kala Rupa is actually, it doesn't affect the devotee. It should not affect a devotee. Now one may ask, oh, then why did Arjun say that, okay, this is very scary, take away this Rupa. It's not like that. Arjun was put into a moment of bewilderment so that he could ask Krishna to later show beautiful forms. The beautiful four-armed form followed by the Saumya Rupa, which is the two-armed form. Arjun was most attracted to the Saumya Rupa. He didn't like the Kala Rupa so much because the Kala Rupa is not a form that you want to worship and enjoy being with, right? So Arjun's personal nature is that he wanted to see the true one form of the Lord. So he said, okay, enough of this. You please show me the beautiful true one form of the Lord, of yourself. But atheists, they get bewildered seeing this dangerous form of the Lord. And that's why they like to resort to the concept of impersonalism. It is, they feel if I imagine Lord to be impersonal, then I'm more secure. I don't have to see any danger from the Lord. So they, meaning I will not be vanquished by the Lord, or I will not be troubled by the Lord. So the atheists, they like to see the Lord as formless. So all these insights Srila Prabhupada gives. But here Narada Muni is telling that it was the Lord who came as Kala Rupa. And when he desired that many evil forces had to be vanquished, he came and he performed his activity and he vanquished all these elements. So saying that, he continues. This is text number 50. Now he's going to break the news about Krishna's disappearance. So let's see that. See, now, though he's telling him that Krishna is soon going to disappear, this didn't sink into Yudhishthir Maharaj. We'll first read the verse and then we'll discuss it here. So now this Narada Muni is going to tell that very soon the Lord is going to close his pastimes. So he says, Nishpaditam deva krityam avesham pratikshate tavad yuyam avikshadvam bhavet yavad iheshvara. Anyone wants to read translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji. The Lord has already performed his duties to help the demigods, and he is awaiting the rest. You Pandavas may wait as long as the Lord is here on earth. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So he says, you can be here as long as he is there here performing his pastime. He has actually completed his duties. Deva Krityam. He has already finished the duty on behalf of the demigods. He came and he has performed his duties. And you may also wait till he is here on earth. Then you can also leave. Which means the Lord is ready to retire. He might leave this world anytime. So indirectly, we see that Narada Muni is giving a hint that the Lord is withdrawing his pastimes. Actually, he had withdrawn his. See, he says the Lord has already performed his duties to help the demigods. He is awaiting rest. You Pandavas may wait as long as the Lord is here on earth. The Pandavas will come to know very soon that the Lord has departed. Narada Muni is giving an indication here. Now, Vidura also gave an indication. When Vidura came itself, Yudhishthir Maharaj, he asks about everybody in this chapter. He asks about his travels and he asks about the friends in Dwaraka and so on. He asks many questions to Vidura, but Vidura didn't answer the question about the Lord and the Dwarkavasis. He doesn't say about the Lord anything. He doesn't indicate anything. And he just talks about his travels and he continues to go and speak to Dhritarashtra. That time itself, Yudhishthir Maharaj should have gotten an indication why is Vidura not specifically talking about Krishna. He should have thought about it. Okay. He should have thought about it and kept it in his mind. Maybe he thought about it because next chapter will reveal a lot more. And here again, one more indication is coming from Narada Muni that the Lord has already performed his duties. He is awaiting the rest. He is awaiting the rest, and the Pandavas, you can wait as long as the Lord is here on the earth. So again, Yudhishthira Maharaj should have got one more indication that the Lord is, Lord's pastimes are over. But the next chapter is when Yudhishthira Maharaj comes to the realization, where he realizes that the Lord has already finished his pastimes. Okay, that we will see in the next chapter. But here, let's analyze the words of Narada Muni according to Srila Prabhupada's purport. Narada Muni says about the Lord, he says that the Lord descends from his abode, Krishna Loka or Goloka Vrindavan, in order to keep the demigod administrators of the world happy, so that they are protected from the non-devotees. So we know this, right? We say even in the 1328, the Vaibhasha Sutra also, Ete Chamsakala Pumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Hridayanti Yuge Yuge. So Hridayanti Yuge Yuge. So the Lord comes from time to time to protect the Indra and his people from the Indra Ari, that is the people who are disturbing, causing disturbance to Indra. So basically, he comes to protect the devotees who, when they are vexed by the asuras. That is the reason at that time the Lord actually comes to this material world. And it appears that his job is over here in this verse. Narada Muni is saying the Lord has already performed his duties to help the demigods and he is awaiting the rest. And Prabhupada, in the purport, he mentions that God comes for the sake of the living entities. But however, today we are seeing so many imitation gods everywhere. Everybody is trying to become an imitation god. And there is a keen competition among such imitation gods to show who is the best god. This is happening everywhere. There are so many people who are trying to be God in various ways. But however, this is only an asuric mentality. There are too many asuras in this world. And when there are too many asuras, it becomes very hellish for the devotees. Due to growth of asuras, the mass of people who are devoted to the Lord by nature and the pure devotees of the Lord, including the demigods and higher planetary systems, they pray to the Lord for relief, and then the Lord descends personally from his abode, or he deputes someone to remodel the fallen condition of human society or even the animal society. So either Krishna can come himself, Krishna can personally come, or he can depute some of his devotees who have to come to this fallen society. Not that they are conditioned, but they come and they play or they take the role of a fallen person within the society and they try to uplift each one of us. So Prabhupada very nicely, interestingly, he mentions here such disruptions that is happening in this world because of the asuras. Such disruptions take place not only in human society but also among animals, birds, and other living beings, including demigods and higher planetary systems. So Lord Sri Krishna descended personally to vanquish asuras like Kamsa, Jarasandha, and Shishupala, and during the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthir, almost all the asuras were killed by the Lord. So he's telling not only the human society is affected, but also the animals, birds, everybody is affected when too many asuras are there in this world. And that is something practically we all are seeing very regularly, right? So we have a few some bad elements, everybody is affected. The cows are slaughtered, there is no protection given to animals, and even the other living entities, there is so much utilization of the forest, there is so much people are digging up the earth, they're doing all sorts of things, they're disturbing nature in various ways. So it's not that only the human society is affected. All the animals, birds, plants, every single living being is affected when there are an intense number of asuras that are increasing. So during such times, these great devotees, they go and they pray to the Lord, and the Lord himself comes to reduce the burden. So he had come at this point in time. Krishna had come in this point of time to reduce the burden, and his job was just done. But at this point in time, he was awaiting the annihilation of his own dynasty called as the Yaduvamsha, who appeared by his will. He wanted to take them away before his own departure to the eternal abode. Narada, like Vidura, did not disclose the imminent annihilation of the Yadu dynasty, but indirectly gave a hint to the king and his brothers to wait till the incident happened and the Lord departed. So this is the conversation that is happening here, that it is all happening around the same time. You can imagine everything is happening around the same time, and the entire Yaduvamsha, everybody would be wiped out. That will also completely happen, and then the news will come to Yudhishthir Maharaj, and then Yudhishthir Maharaj and his brothers will depart. These are all hints given by Narada Muni. But still, Yudhishthira Maharaj has just taken the hint. He has not processed it fully. Till there is a point when he really starts feeling the set in of Kali Yuga. That is when he asks in the next chapter, he'll start asking Bhima that I'm not feeling good. I don't think everything is okay. I'm seeing bad omens. Can you find out why Arjun has not returned from Dwarka? The next chapter he will ask, and he will get, by then Arjun will come back, and Arjun will reveal the news to him that Krishna had already departed. Okay? So that will be in the next chapter. The revelation is in the next chapter, but all the hints are given here, given by Vidura as well as given by Narada. So quickly, text 51. Narada Muni continues to say, Dhritarashtra धृतराष्ट्रः सह भर्ता गान्धार्या च स्वभार्यया दक्षिणेन हिमवत ऋषीणाम् आश्रमं गता. Anyone wants to read translation?
I can read Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes.
O king, your uncle Dhritarashtra, his brother Vidura, and his wife Gandhari have gone to the southern side of the Himalaya mountains, where there are shelters of the great sages. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So now Narada Muni is pacifying Yudhishthir Maharaj, telling, now first he gave philosophy, right? He gave very hard philosophy, saying that don't worry, everything is taken care of, the Lord is maintaining them, you don't have to get so concerned. He gives him example of Jiva Jivasya Jivanam. He talks all this philosophy, and he tells Yudhishthir Maharaj not to worry so much, and he tells Yudhishthir Maharaj it's time for you to retire is also coming. You also have to soon withdraw your pastimes. You also cannot stay here permanently, because once Krishna has left, you should also leave. He tells all the philosophy to him, and then he gives the answer to pacify Yudhishthir Maharaj. He says, don't worry, your uncle Dhritarashtra and his wife Gandhari, along with your another uncle Vidura, they are actually in the southern side of the Himalayas, and there are many huts of great sages there. Okay, so here Prabhupada says Narada first of all spoke from the philosophical point of view and then began to describe the future movements of the uncle, which he could see by foreseeing his powers. Sometimes very important messages, when someone asks us a question, okay, very crucial question. Like for example, in the case of Yudhishthir Maharaj, he really desperately wanted to know what happened to his uncle, right? He was in a mode of desperation. When he was in a mode of desperation, at that time you are really going to listen if a great sage like Narada Muni is going to come and give you some news, right? So when he's very eager to listen, and he really wants an answer and he's waiting. At that time, Narada Muni is very intelligent. What does he do? He gives all the tough philosophy. He gives him all the philosophy and tells him that you have to absorb all this material before I actually reveal the answer to you. And then, after giving all the philosophy, he reveals the situation, saying that still don't worry. I know all this philosophy is hard to digest, but he finally reveals that don't worry, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Vidura, they are all okay. They are there in the southern side of the Himalayas. This is where their location is. Now, immediately, if he had revealed and then he starts speaking philosophy, maybe or may not, Yudhishthir Maharaj would have listened to it fully with full focus. But now Yudhishthir Maharaj was like literally listening to every single word of Narada with full focus because he was waiting to hear what happened to his uncles. Okay, so Narada is very intelligent. He knows how to preach to whom. Like for example, we have heard this in many classes. When Narada had to preach to Mrigari, for example, he doesn't go and tell him intense philosophy. He doesn't say, you are the spirit soul, you're not the body. You should not live by hunting. You should become a sannyasi, and so on. He didn't do all that. What did he do? He just said, okay, give up your. He said, why are you half killing the animals? Kill them fully, he says. That is the instruction that is given by Narada Muni. And then later, after some conversation, he tells him, break the bow and go and sit down and chant. So Narada Muni knows how to talk to whom when, okay, how to give the information. So now Yudhishthir Maharaj is getting to know what's happening with Gandhari, Dhritarashtra and Vidura. So text 52. श्रोथोभिः सप्तभीर्या वै स्वर्धुनी सप्तधा व्यधात् सप्तानां प्रीतये नान सप्तश्रोत प्रचक्षते. Anyone translation?
Hare Krishna. The place is called Saptashrota, divided to 7, because there the waters of the sacred Ganges were divided into 7 branches. This was done for the satisfaction of the 7 great rishis.
Jai, Vaibhav. And this is actually the branches of the Ganges. Ganges is called a Swardhuni. She is very musical when she flows. She's called a Swardhuni. In another place also it is mentioned about Swardhuni. There is a verse. Swardhuni apaha. The water of the Ganges may purify you with constant association, but the one moment association of a devotee can bring about purification immediately, right? So like that, this Ganga Devi, she flows there, and there is one particular place where the branches of the Ganges is divided into 7 for the sake of the Saptarishis. This section of that region is called a Saptashrota. It is there in the southern side of the Himalayas, and that is where Dhritarashtra, Vidura, and Gandhari were performing austerities in their Vanaprastha. स्नात्वानुसवनं तस्मिन् हुत्वा चाग्नीन् यथा विधि अभक्ष उपशन्तात्मा स आस्ते विगतैषणे. Anyone for translation?
Hare Krishna. On the banks at Saptashrota, Dhritarashtra is now engaged in beginning Ashtanga Yoga by bathing 3 times daily, in the morning, noon, and evening, by performing the Agnihotra sacrifice with fire, and by drinking only water. This helps one control the mind and the senses and frees one completely from thoughts of familial affection. Hare Krishna.
So what are the activities of the Vanaprastha at Saptashrota? Dhritarashtra was performing Ashtanga Yoga, bathing 3 times a day, and he was performing Agnihotra sacrifice. This is important. every grihastha has to perform the Agnihotra sacrifice, right, from the time of marriage itself. The same Agni, like we have discussed this earlier also, that Agni that is burning at the time of marriage, that with that itself, they have to travel for the rest of their life, in ancient times. Nowadays, the wedding happens in a mantap, and then it's over. The Agni is put off right there in front of your eyes, even before the couples walk out. But in ancient times, the same Agni used to be taken to their house. They should not put off the Agni at all once the Agni is lit. You have no right to put it off. You have to hold on to that Agni. Take a stick, hold on to that Agni, put it in your house, and you should do the sacrifice every day in your house. And then towards the end of your life, the same Agni is used to burn your body. So when the final rites is happening, the son will take the same Agni and he burns the body of the father. So this Agnihotra sacrifice has to go on every single day for a Grasta. And now he's in Vanaprashta. Vanaprashta also he has to continue Agnihotra sacrifice. He cannot give it up. And only a sannyasi doesn't do sacrifice. Sannyasi doesn't do all these Agni sacrifices. But this is nice that the Drashtra, he was doing his morning, evening, and noon Gayatris. He was taking bath 3 times a day, chanting his mantras, doing Agnihotra sacrifices, and importantly, he was doing Ashtanga Yoga and lot of austerity. Because again, as a Vanaprashta, you're not there for Bhogya Sukha, right? You don't want to enjoy there. As it is, you have left home, that was too much enjoyment, and you came to the forest to think about the Supreme Lord. So there also, you don't want to live a luxurious life. So what he started doing, he started increasing his austerity, and he was only drinking water. This way, his mind was in control and the senses were in control, and any sort of other attachments are completely driven out of the body. When one practices austerity and Ashtanga Yoga, all the sense enjoyment is gradually driven out. And when the sense enjoyment is gradually driven out, what happens? The mind becomes focused. The mind becomes focused, and one can divert the mind from matter to spirit. Otherwise, this is very difficult. Hmm. That is the core of Ashtanga Yoga process. You know the 8 limbs, right? So this atyahara is very, very important. Withdrawal of the senses. It is extremely important. To come to that point, of course, you have to do yama, niyama, asana, all that pranayam. Then you will come to the point of atyahara. And after atyahara is complete, then this you will go to dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, right? So to do dharana, dhyana, you have to do atyahara perfectly, meaning you have to completely withdraw your attraction for senses. Then you can do dharana and dhyana. So he was being very austere. He had his senses and mind under control. And all these are preliminary processes. To come till this point, it is all preliminary processes. Like the asana, sitting posture, spiritual thoughts, manipulation of the air that is passing within the body, which is your breathing exercise, pranayam. And then like this, these are all sort of initial processes to come to the point of actual meditation. Hmm? And all this is great. These processes are also very feasible for one who's in the forest and one who wants to take up to this process of Ashtanga Yoga. So Prabhupada says that house, country, family, society, children, property, and business are some of the material coverings for a spirit, Atma. And the yoga system helps one to become free from such illusory thoughts and gradually turn towards the absolute person, Paramatma. So all these are different illusory factors, and through the process of Ashtanga Yoga, one can become free from the illusory thoughts and focus on the Paramatma. And he compares what modern yoga schools are doing today. In modern yoga schools, the so-called yogis, what are they doing? They are telling people to perform some material gymnastic exercises, and some so-called yogis, they are showing magical feats and cheating the ignorant people, and they are healing people and attracting a lot of money. This is what most people are doing in the name of yoga. But all this is not yoga at all. None of this is actually yoga. Yoga system is the process of learning to forget what we have acquired throughout the struggle for existence. All the material things that we have acquired, we should forget everything. That is the real principle behind yoga. And Dhritarashtra, all his life, he was trying hard to improve his situation, his standard of living. He was continuously, he and his sons, they were usurping the property of the Pandavas, and they were trying to become more and more materialistic. They wanted more and more kingdom, riches, everything. They were not even ready to give a small piece of land to the Pandavas. So, like this, he was so materialistic, so materialistic. So, such a materialistic person was actually transformed and saved from going to hell by his brother Vidura. He was enlightened by his brother, and he could understand all these are illusory. He left home for the sake of spiritual realization. And this is the kind of spiritual progress that Dhritarashtra was doing. He was not doing some yogic exercises and doing some magic in the forest. Rather, he was a very, very serious practitioner. He had seen the other side of life. He had engaged enough number of years in illusory engagements. But now, by the mercy of his brother, he was engaging now in true spiritual realization. Hmm? So now Narada is telling all this. He's telling all this. Don't worry. Your uncle, he's well situated. Now only he's focusing on the true purpose of life. So he was inspiring Yudhishthir Maharaj and telling him, don't worry at all. And he said he's not taking water. He's not taking solid food. He's fasting. He's seeking after spiritual knowledge. This is the nature of your uncle right now. So be happy for him. He's deeply absorbed in meditation. He's controlling his senses. That is his condition. So he says this. And let's see what else he continues to say about Dhritarashtra. Jitasano jitashvasa pratyahara shadindriyah hari bhavana yadvashta rajah satvatamo mala. Rajah Sattva Mala. Anyone for translation?
Next, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
One who has controlled the sitting postures, the yogic asanas, and the breathing process can turn the senses toward the absolute personality of Godhead and thus become immune to the contaminations of the modes of the material nature, namely mundane goodness, passion, and ignorance. Thank you,
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, so this is the Ashtanga Yoga process that is mentioned here. One who has controlled the sitting postures. You all know this, Yama Niyama Asana, pranayam, breathing process, pratyahar, controlling the senses. Only such a person can have everything focused on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can become immune to the contaminations of the modes of material nature, which is sattva, rajas, and tamas. So that means Maharaj Dhritarashtra was attaining success in the process. And the verse here is very beautiful. It says, Hari Bhavanaya Dvashta. So it's so nice, right? The verse itself says the absolute personality of God, Hari, absorbed Bhavanaya. So this is what he was trying to do. He was trying to absorb himself in the thoughts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari. Dhritarashtra was to attain success in those preliminary actions because he was seated in a sanctified place and was concentrating upon one objective, which is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari. So his senses were being engaged in the service of the Lord. So this is what he was doing. And This is an indirect process. This is a very long process. But then the process given to us is the process of devotional service. We get a direct process. Directly, in whatever activities we are doing, we are given the opportunity to engage in the service of the Lord. Dhritarashtra had to focus on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and hence he was engaged in the service of the Lord. But to come to that point, it was not easy. But we all, it is very easy for us. We have to engage in the 9 processes of devotional service, and automatically, as we are engaging our senses in Krishna consciousness, we are engaged in the service of the Lord. So it's a very easy, straightforward process for us. And we can easily get over the 3 modes of material nature through this process of bhakti. Prabhupada says even the highest mode, which is the mode of goodness, that can also keep you in bondage. How does it keep you in bondage? Anyone remembers from Bhagavad Gita? How goodness can be a trap? I'm sure you all know.
Raji,
Huh?
the happiness and
Happiness, yes.
knowledge, and in turn they cause pride.
100%, yes. Happiness, satisfaction, happiness, you become complacent, and knowledge causing pride. Okay, so these 2 things will keep you tied in this material world through the process of goodness. So goodness can also be binding. Not only passion and ignorance, even goodness is binding. So to get over all these 3, the best process is Krishna consciousness. So this is very, very important. And only a surrendered devotee, one who has surrendered himself to the lotus feet of Lord Hari, can transcend the influences of the 3 modes of material nature. Otherwise, it is not possible. That's why this bhakti yogic process is so effective. The other process is the executor is thinking that because of these activities, this activity of Ashtanga Yoga or activity of speculation, jnana, I am able to attain perfection. But a bhakti yogi is depending completely on the Lord. He is not dependent on the process that he is following. While he is doing the process, he is completely surrendered at the lotus feet of the Lord. So he passes on the responsibility to the Lord. So the process is actually working because the responsibility is now with the Lord the moment he surrenders. So the process of turning the senses from material attachment to the loving service of the Lord is called pratyahara for a devotee. And the very process of pranayama and ultimately ending samadhi or absorption is pleasing to Supreme Lord Hari by all means. And Prabhupada in another place, he says that for a devotee, what is samadhi? All the activities that he is doing in the service of the Lord, even if you're cooking for the Lord, or you're sweeping for the Lord, or you're dressing the Lord, in all the activities, you're in practical samadhi, he says. So the process of Krishna consciousness also has these. It has pratyahara, it has samadhi, it has all these processes, but it is a more direct and easy process. That is what Prabhupada is trying to explain in this purport. But it is very nice that Dhritarashtra was successful in whatever process he was trying to accomplish. And seeing some chat messages, I'll quickly open it up. We have Asamurdhva, yeah. And time I am, yeah, beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita. Mam cha yovya bicharena, one who engages in full devotional service. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful verses. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. Okay, 55. Vijnanatmani samyoga kshetrajne pravilyaप्यतम brahmanatmanam adhare gathambharam ivambhare. Okay, Tulsi Gopi Mataji has raised hand. I was thinking how come Tulsi Gopi Mataji didn't raise hand still. So we have Tulsi Gopi Mataji, but Mataji, do you want to read the translation and then we'll discuss?
Yes,
first.
Mataji, sure. Thank you. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Dhritarashtra will have no amalgamate, Dhritarashtra will have to amalgamate his pure identity with intelligence and then merge into the Supreme Being with knowledge of his qualitative oneness as a living entity with, with the Supreme Brahman. Being freed from the blocked sky, he will have to rise to the spiritual sky.
Yeah. Yes, so this is going to be his destination. His destination is where? Any guesses where Dhritarashtra went?
Brahman,
Yes, he
Brahma
went to
Jyoti.
yes, he went to the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Why do you think so, Mataji?
Because he wasn't in quite in the mood of devotion,
Yes, you're right.
and he was with Ashtanga Yoga, he was in the mood of freeing himself from the clutches of material bondage. So that's why his goal was to get free from the material world, not necessarily to go to serve the lotus feet of the Lord.
Right. Yes, very nice, Mataji. And also Chakravarti Pad adds that because of his unlimited offenses to great Vaishnavas like the Pandavas, he was not awarded love of God.
Yes, I remember many years ago I read that
Yeah.
that he was envious towards the devotees of the Lord, and he till the end he always felt like a grudge towards Krishna kind of thing, right? Instead of
So he was not awarded love of God. Yeah. Such intense envy towards Vaishnavas, as much as like you want to destroy them all the time. That yes, you can get liberation. Liberation, it's difficult, of course, but still you can get liberation if you want it. But to get love of God, it is.
I mean, if he was envious, but at the end, if he took shelter of a Vaishnav guru and surrendered for purification, then he had hopes to get love of God. But he did not approach a bona fide spiritual master in the like as a disciple. He heard from
Right?
Vidura, and but he didn't necessarily take to his service and become a disciple and pray for purification and forgiveness and all that. So it's a difference.
There's a difference, yes. He didn't have repentance, yes. Repentance to the point where you're seeking purification, like how you beautifully mentioned. Yeah. Thank you,
But
Mataji.
excuse me, sorry, Mataji. Vidura is a great Vaishnava. He was guided by Vidura himself.
Yeah, but
But he should have had the reminiscence of that, the Bhakti. As you said, he was not awarded, so he didn't get it.
but you should qualify yourself to get awarded. You should desire to be awarded, right? When you desire, Krishna will award. So we should desire, yes, we should have the repentance that we have done something wrong, and we should desire for Krishna Prema. When we don't have the desire, why will we get the award?
Yes, in the later chapters, it's mentioned that Vidura feels sad at the end that he actually enters he raises the fire in his body and gets samadhi, but he
Samadhi,
still
yeah.
did not take the chance to serve in the mood of a devotee, so he missed out on that. I remember I read
Yes,
that many years.
yes. Beautiful, Mataji, yes.
Mataji, I had a question actually when I raised my hand.
Yeah.
That question you asked, that which verse of Gita has explains how one even goodness can be a trap.
Mm.
Which unit is that? because I did only unit 1. Was it in that or in the other 2 or 3 unit?
It will be in the last unit, no? Chapter 13, 14, that's where it comes, right? Chinmay Mataji answered the question. We'll ask her which was.
Okay. And the other question I had is that samadhi means Prabhupada explains that how a devotee can also be in samadhi, but uh, I'm wondering, like, samadhi means that one should then never come down from that stage, right? So if a Ashtanga yogi is samadhi means he has achieved self-realization, and for a devotee, one who is in samadhi while doing service, he has to then always be in that trance, in the mood of serving, and never then like, okay, while I'm doing service, now I went back to my duties and now I'm in the other lower modes. Then it's not samadhi, right, Mataji, for us, for me, or
Yeah, samadhi means intense absorption or trance. Intense absorption and trance is samadhi. So when a person is doing some element of devotional service and he has an intense absorption, that is samadhi. Now, for an Ashtanga yogi, yes, once he is on samadhi, that's it. For a bhakti yogi, he can go to samadhi and come out, go to samadhi and come out. There's no problem. Okay, but that absorption we call samadhi. Na? That absorption is available for a bhakti yogi in all the activities he's performing. That's why Prabhupada is telling it's a more direct, it's an easier, simpler way of doing it. That's
so Prabhupada was constantly in samadhi, whether he, but we have to be like that, right? Our goal is to, like, while we are serving DT,
You're right, I understand what you're saying.
but
Yeah.
I guess, like, eventually when we do, no matter what we do, we should aim to be in absorption no matter what, and
Yeah,
we
in
are
the
going to
point,
sleep or whatever, right, Mataji, to be really be
yes.
qualified in samadhi.
And at the point of bhava and prema, that's how a person is constant. Right?
Okay,
Bhava.
thank you so much.
Constant samadhi. But yeah, for we practicing devotees in and out samadhi, in bhava bhakti, prema bhakti, that is full samadhi.
So have we can ever like experience samadhi at a small, like,
Yeah.
can we?
That's what Prabhupada says. When you have intense absorption in your practices, small services, that is practical samadhi. He calls it practical samadhi. But again, he means to say that absorption is there, that when you relish the Lord in that absorption, he calls it samadhi. It's not about whether you came back or not. It's just that relishment. We get some glimpses. That is the
Glimpses of
understanding.
okay.
Yeah, glimpses.
Thank you
And
so much.
bhava bhakti and prema bhakti, there is full absorption.
Jai. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah. Praladananda Prabhu, please add.
I think, Mataji, those two slokas in 14th chapter, 14.6 and 41.9, those were explaining how mode of goodness can bind the spirit soul to material existence like that. So those, because of feeling happiness and enlightenment, he is bound by that. So that's what I just posted, those two slokas there.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Very
Is there in the chat? Very good. Okay. So Dhritarashtra goes to Brahmajyoti. Okay, purport. So, Prabhupada, he talks about the material world, first of all. The living being, by his desiring to lord over the material world and declining to cooperate with the Supreme Lord, contacts the sum total of material world, namely Mahat Tattva, and from Mahat Tattva, his false identity with the material world, intelligence, mind, and senses is developed. This is how we come to the material world, okay? There's a lot of technicality Prabhupada has written. He says the minute you contact this material world, you contact Mahat Tattva. And this Mahat Tattva is your false identity. You develop ego, false ego. False ego with what? False ego because you're contacting yourself with the material world. You start thinking, I am the body. Ego means what? To think I am body. That is ego. So he contacts with once he comes in contact with the Mahat Tattva, his false identity with the material world is established, and he develops intelligence, mind, and senses within this material world in a body. Okay. So once he has developed all this, he has got false ego, intelligence, mind, and senses, it will completely cover his pure spiritual identity. By the yogic process, what happens is this pure identity is realized through self-realization. So in self-realization process, like what our Dhritarashtra was doing, he had to revert to his original position to the point of self-realization by amalgamating the 5 gross elements and subtle elements, including mind and intelligence, into the Mahat Tattva again. So all this he had acquired, right? Like how a living entity acquires the subtle and the gross body, he had to amalgamate everything back into it. That is the way that he could understand his true spiritual identity. This is the process of this Ashtanga Yoga. So this is what Dhritarashtra was doing. So thus getting freed from the clutches of Mahat Tattva, he had to merge his existence of merge in the existence of the super soul. In other words, he had to realize that he was qualitatively non-different from the super soul, and he transcended into this material sky. Okay, and from there he goes on to the Brahma Jyoti, which is considered the spiritual sky. He moves on there. So all this happened to Dhritarashtra. At least he got the process of going to the Brahmajyoti at least through the mercy of Vidura, who was a great devotee of the Lord. This much at least he got. And this was also bestowed by the Lord's mercy. Prabhupada is telling, the Lord's mercy was the thing that was bestowed upon him by the personal contact of Vidura. Krishna is always merciful. Even if Krishna didn't give Bhav Bhakti, he gave him so much, right? So Krishna is very merciful. So Krishna gave him this mercy through the medium of Vidura. And he started practicing some instructions of Vidura, and therefore he attained perfection. This is also perfection. Going to Brahmajyoti is also great because you're giving up attachment to this material world, right? So he was able to get free from contaminations of the sum total of Mahat Tattva. In this way, he attains the spiritual sky. So this was Dhritarashtra's case. Now, all this is being told by whom? Narada Muni is telling all this to Yudhishthir Maharaj, that this is what is going to happen to your uncle. So he continues to say, someone else raised hand. Sorry. Oh, we are out of time. I'm so sorry. I forgot time. Totally forgot time. How many verses we have left, Mataji's? 56, 57? That's all? Oh dear. Anyone knows?
Till 60, Mataji.
Oh, okay, then we'll stop here. If we have till 60, it's too much to cover. Okay? But someone raised hand if I'm not wrong.
Mataji.
I didn't realize we ran out of time. Sorry. Yeah.
Mataji, I had a quick question.
Yeah.
Again, Tulsi Gopi Dasi. Mataji, that in like how they explain several people, they do this Ashtanga yoga and raise the fire and achieve Brahman. How someone knows how to do that? Like they learn in their Gurukul in childhood those days how to raise the pran, this thing from one stage Vayu to which whatever they call the chakra and their consciousness, and then ultimately raise the temperature and cause the fire to Jatharagni to rise and like to they learn this in the childhood in the Gurukul or how?
Mataji, my understanding is when they are ready to practice, such intense Ashtanga yoga, there is some sage, some devotee, some sages, rishis who teach them the process. Okay. Who are aware, they will teach them that. Like, for example, here he was staying in that Sapta Shrota, and there he was near the hermitage of many sages. That's how Bhagavatam teaches us, right? So we learn from them the yogic process, and learning the yogic process is not like a one-day affair. It takes a while, right? So they stay there and they learn, and then finally, when the time is right, they give up their body upon it. That's my understanding, Mataji, because that's how the life seemed to be for these people. Yeah.
Okay.
Because first and foremost thing for Dhritarashtra to have learned that in being a king or a prince was not practical. You have to be in that correct atmosphere to perform these activities, right? So you have to be in the forest. You have to follow so many rules and regulations. So it's not like they teach you in good book.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So, because he stayed in the forest among rishis before he did this austerity, he took some association, learnt, and then he moved on
Yes.
to do this. Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Right. Thank you. Sadamani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for the beautiful class. Mataji, the last shloka which we were discussing, the Dhritarashtra went to Brahman. So I was thinking about Dhruva Maharaj and trying to find the difference, Mataji. Like Dhruva Maharaj also had material desires, and he also got instruction from pure devotee, Narad Muni. And he went, then he did bhakti. He also started austerity, Mataji. Later his desires got purified. So in case of Dhritarashtra, this word is actually making me confused. Hari Bhavanaya. Like he was also absorbed in Hari, Dhritarashtra. Then where was the difference, Mataji?
The difference is that the process taught by Narada Muni for Dhruva Maharaj was Bhakti Mishra Yoga. Okay. Rather, was it Yoga Mishra Bhakti? He did more Bhakti, huh? Yeah, it was Yoga Mishra Bhakti, sorry. Yoga Mishra Bhakti. The principal factor was Bhakti. But there was a process of yoga that was also there in that bhakti process, in that principal process of bhakti. Here it is the typical Ashtanga yoga process. In a typical Ashtanga yoga process, also the person has to meditate on Hari only, meaning in the heart. That specific form is called as Janardhana, the one who is in the heart. Yeah, you have to meditate on the Lord only. Okay, but Yoga Mishra Bhakti was the thing that was taught to our Dhruva Maharaj. It was predominantly Bhakti mixed with certain elements of Ashtanga Yoga, as it's a combination process by which he attains perfection. So there is a vast difference. Like, for example, Dhruva Maharaj had to build a murti of the Lord in sand. Remember? And he had to worship. So there were many elements of devotional service that was taught to him in the process that he had to follow. And he had the Hari Bhavana, yes. Here the focus is on Hari, that meaning in terms of meditation. But the bhakti process per se was not fully matured when Dhritarashtra was performing his devotion, his yogic processes. Does it help, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Helps. And is there any, I don't know, Mataji, I am asking you, like Narad Muni instructed Dhruva Maharaj and here Vidura instructed Dhritarashtra. So is there any difference, like in the potency of their instruction or like that?
No, it's not like that. It's not about Vidura's instruction to Dhritarashtra was don't be attached to household life and you go to the forest. Okay. Narada's instructions to Dhruva was how to see the Lord.
Oh.
Yeah, there is a
So their goal was different.
Yes, not goal. Their role. Yeah, role. You're right. Yeah, their role was different. Goal and role. Okay. Yeah, both. Yeah. Yeah. But both are devotees. Both are creating a positive influence only. But there's no question of comparison in the sense that it is not equation. You can't equate the two to be similar. Hmm?
Okay. Thank
Indu Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dhanavad Pranam. Thank you so much, Mataji. Wonderful realizations that you have shared also. Love the explanation for the comparison between Dhruva Maharaj and Dhritarashtra. I had a question on one, why Dhritarashtra had reduced, he started performing more austerities and he cut down water. I mean, he cut down and started drinking only water, right? He wasn't eating anything.
Mm.
Even towards the end of life, for many people, they slowly, even in today's day and age, they slowly stop eating food and then they rely on only liquids. So I was just wondering, you know, is that the process we actually need to follow? Because over here we don't have that system of regulation where, you're growing old, it's time for you to leave, so you prepare for that. So my question is, I hope you understood the question. It's that, is this the way? Is there a process that we need to follow, towards the end of life?
No, this is not the process you follow. You'll be forced to follow it with all the diseases. I'm not telling you, but in general in this world, somehow or the other, in old age, we are forced to follow this process. By force, we are forced to stop eating. You see a person who's aging, by nature, the doctors are on the call, they will tell you, as you age, as you're aging and you're going close to that, automatically you will stop eating. You will not feel like drinking water. Everything will stop automatically. Okay, you don't have to force yourself to do all this. The reason why Dhritarashtra was forcing himself to subsist on water was for his concentration in the process of Ashtanga Yoga, to have the Dhruvanusmriti, to have continuous focus and concentration in Ashtanga Yoga. You have to be very regulated in how you eat and drink. Okay, and your sensory activities should be completely withdrawn and your mind should be in complete focus and samadhi. Okay, then only you will attain success in that particular process. But the process we are following has nothing to do with it. But then at the time of death, automatically everything will happen because of the nature of the body. Okay, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mataji.
sorry. Yeah. I don't know if I'm wrong, the doctors can correct me. Mm. Uh, did you have anything else, Mataji? You had something else in mind to ask, or?
I did have a question on the whole Dhritarashtra attaining Brahman, but that's okay. You cleared
Okay,
that
yeah,
up.
you can.
No, you cleared it up when you talked to Saudamani Mataji. Just wanted to also check Duryodhana and all. Do we know where they went? Because in the Mahabharata, they go to the heavenly planets, right?
Yeah, they all go to
But
heaven.
Dhritarashtra reached a better position than them. Oh yes, now I remember. My other question was on Gandhari. Normally, the wife follows the husband's path. So, if Dhritarashtra was able to go to Brahman, Gandhari was still kind of a devotee only, right? She did not commit any offenses towards the Lord. She didn't have that mentality in general. Um, do we know
So where
where
did she
she
go?
would have gone?
The verse would say generally for it here, O king, he will quit his body. It will not say exactly where she went, but then we can see that in this particular verse, It says, while sitting out, while observing her husband, I'm not able to close this window. Okay. While outside observing her husband who will burn in the fire of mystic power, along with his thatched cottage, his chaste wife will enter the fire with rapt attention. Gandhari was an ideal chaste lady, a life companion of her husband, and therefore, when she saw her husband burning in the fire of mystic yoga, along with his cottage of leaves, she despaired. She left home after losing her 100 sons, and in the forest she saw that her most beloved husband was also burning. Now she factually felt alone, and therefore she entered the fire of her husband and followed her husband to death. This entering of a chaste lady to fire, this sati system, and it should not be okay. All that Prabhupada says in today's world, it should not be forced upon, and so on. A chaste wife like Gandhari would feel separation of her husband, and a lady can okay, all this is not good. Okay. Nothing much is mentioned specifically that whether she went to Brahma Jyoti, all that is not mentioned. But I can look up Chakravarti Path's commentary. I believe this is verse number 56, right? No, 58. Okay. Just give me 1 second. 58. I don't remember reading. Even when I prepared for the class, I don't remember reading. It's a good question to ask, though, but I don't. Yeah. But let's see what it says. I definitely would like to read what Chakravarti Path also said. 58, right, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Mhm.
Nothing. The commentary says, I will go and bring back Gandhari. No, that is not possible. When the body of her husband burns along with the hut by the fire of yoga and the household fire, she, situated outside, will enter the fire following her husband. Anugata, that's all. She just follows her husband. I don't say anything but.
Yeah. Just because once we go to Brahman, because we talk about how the husband and wife can, like Prithu Maharaj's case in Archi, that they go to the same destination. But here I was just wondering because from Brahman it's difficult to come back, right? Movement is not possible from there. But I also wanted to know was she considered a devotee of the Lord? When Krishna is leaving Dwaraka, they talk about how all the ladies of not Dwaraka, leaving for Dwaraka, ladies of Hastinapur, and there even she is mentioned, right? But so was not sure where her position was.
Yeah, nothing. And here in the next purport, Chakravarti Pad says it should be understood that Dhritarashtra, being an offender to devotees, attained only liberation and not prema, since Vidura did not give such mercy. By the way, Sadamuni Mataji was asking about the comparison. Chakravarti Pad says Vidura did not give mercy enough for him to get prema. Yeah. Sorry, Mataji, I'm not able to find any more comments on Gandhari. Yeah. Whether she's a devotee, whether she went I don't, Mataji, I think it's a good guess to understand that it's not prema bhakti, because prema bhakti doesn't work like this, and at the most it can be in personal liberation.
Sure.
Mataji, may I add a little point here?
Yeah, please add.
It's the Bhavan says, Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam Tyajanti Ante Kalavar.
Yeah.
So her whole mental kind of situation was concentrating on her husband.
Yeah.
So where the husband went, it's very I'm just kind of speculation. We are not following. Yeah, but on the basis of Bhagavad Gita, one can elaborate on that like that. That, because she must be thinking about her husband only when she entered that fire like that. So she could have obtained that the Brahma Jyoti Again,
Yeah.
she was a Shiv Bhaktani. She was not Krishna Bhakta as such, That's what we know from scriptures and other things. So it's likely that she obtained the same Brahma Jyoti like that. That's what I feel that.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. Actually, Gandhari, we know some informations that she also indulged in cursing Krishna at the end of the. So if she couldn't have been showing bhakti towards Krishna, whoever loves Krishna can never curse him.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
That's most important, no, Mataji. So she did have some kind of difference towards Krishna. So naturally, she could have not been showing bhakti to Krishna in any way.
100%.
That is the assumption we get from what we read, no, Mataji. So obviously, she didn't think about Krishna or she didn't think about anything, but maybe only about her husband, and then eventually she must have followed her.
Yes, Mataji. 100%. Yeah. Agreed.
Mataji.
Yeah.
Today only in some discussion, my older daughter Tarini was asking that in those ancient times when the wife, after becoming widow, when she entered the fire of the funeral pyre, isn't that considered suicide, like
Yeah.
simple like suicide? And so I said probably not. I don't know if it was prescribed in the Vedas or whatever, but apparently not. So can you explain something why?
Um, yeah, Prabhupada explains that in the purport, Mataji. The actual rite and how it is concocted today. The actual rite is fixing the thoughts of the husband in their hearts. Like, for example, in the case of, she just mentioned Prithu and Archie. Indu just mentioned. So, keeping the thoughts of the husband in the mind when they are completely focused on the husband, they're kind of oblivious, completely oblivious to their own existence, bodily existence. And with that full faith, it's not like suicide. It's like they just want to be with their husband and they go, and it doesn't it is not like as gross as you can imagine it to be today. Okay. And they just join their husband. That is the understanding. But here, Prabhupada also mentions in this fallen age, it is not possible for any lady to follow the sati rite as chastely as it was done by Gandhari and others in the past ages. A chaste wife like Gandhari would feel the separation of her husband to be more burning than actual fire. Such a lady can observe the sati rite voluntarily, and there is no criminal force by anyone. When the rite became a formality only and force was applied upon a lady to follow the principle, actually it became a criminal. Therefore, the ceremony was to be stopped by the state of law. This prophecy to Narada Muni, to Yudhishthira Maharaj, forbade him from going to his widowed hut. Yeah. So you can read this purport and explain the entering of a chaste lady from here on.
Because Mataji, just few years ago, I heard a case where like one IT guy in India,
And the force, that is not right, Mataji.
Yeah, like I heard a case where a young IT professional was going through cancer or some accident or something, and he was in the hospital, and the doctors then pronounced him dead, and his wife couldn't bear that. So as soon as they took his body from that whichever floor, she jumped out of the window and ended her life, that I cannot live without him. But we consider that as suicide, whereas this is like you have to be alive and enter the fire is considered greater than dying some other way and not being able to live without your husband. So how do you compare this? Like, how do you understand that this was not right versus, what
I
not?
don't know if that was wrong. I don't know. I don't know, Mataji.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. This is a very difficult topic for me, especially to answer. I don't know. I'm surviving today. So I don't know what kind of heart I have.
No,
But
Mataji.
yeah, I can't answer.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So sorry.
That's okay, Mataji. But I don't know. Maybe it's foolish. Maybe it's not for that lady. Or maybe that's what her heart was. I don't
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can I add something here in this?
Yes, Prabhu.
So actually, during the Shivaji Maharaj era, right,
Uh-huh.
when his father Shahaji was there, Jijao, his mother, he stopped the sati pratha in the kingdom, which like all the Jahangiri, which was given to Shahaji Maharaj, and afterwards she completely stopped when Shivaji Maharaj took over those areas. So at that time, what was happening is the most of these marriages were happening to the old husband who had money, right?
Mm,
Because and then they used to die, and now to get the all the gold and everything from this wife, they used to force these girls. Even the in
yeah.
Maharashtra especially, they have some like bugri and kangan and some
Mhm.
so all those things. So to get that gold from her body, right? So those gold, the one who's burning them or the brahmana who is performing right, they used to take that, and that's why they for that gold they used to force them to go sati, even though this young lady was not ready to go on sati, so it was not voluntary, and that is what you say that if it is voluntary and committing suicide is a suicide, like jumping from the floor,
Mm,
that is not from the Vedic way, right?
mm.
Uh, but in this
Yeah,
case,
actually, Prabhu's answer is correct. Tulsi Gopi Mataji, think about it. I said I don't know to answer that question, but actually, Prabhu's giving the right answer. It is still considered suicide. That's what Prabhu said. The reason is they are not following the Vedic ritual properly. Vedic rituals, they have a certain procedure, right? Right, Prabhu? Is that how
yeah,
yeah,
right.
answering
So
it?
when they are doing sati, they have to perform some ritual.
Mm,
If the person is going voluntary, but in this Maharaj era, it was forced. That's why it was stopped. And nowadays,
correct.
I think, and it was generally the husband used to die early because the husband used to be old and rich. That's why he was getting married
Mm,
to a young, beautiful girls.
correct. Mm,
So that should have been stopped. That was not proper.
correct.
But anyway, when you do not follow the ritual, Vedic
Yes.
ritual, whatever you do is not going to be accepted by Agni or eventually
Correct.
by Krishna. So,
Correct.
so
Yeah, that's
yeah,
a
so
fantastic answer. Yeah. Mataji, you
correct,
got your answer.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yes, makes complete sense. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. That was so good, helpful, actually. Because if someone asked me this question, I'm stumped. I have no idea. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Mm. Anything else anyone wants to add? Okay, so we'll end here. I know we've gone half an hour over. So everyone must be in the middle of their sleep. So please go ahead and have a good night's rest. And we will have to finish this chapter next week, okay? Next Tuesday. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय Thank you, devotees. We'll meet again on Tuesday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you
Hare
so much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavad.
Thank you.
Very well. I think I missed a lot of text messages. It could be the verses. So I hope you all have seen the verses. Hare. Oh, Shyam Gopal Prabhu, you just answered. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Maya. Vancha kalpatarubhasya. Kripa sindhu eva cha patitanam pavanebhayo vaishnavino namo.